Hey, what's going on, guys? Jake Sanders here on the Beaky Bill YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what the rest of my videos on my channel have been. Today we're going to be working on my S14 project. So I got this car from a guy locally. It sat outside for about 2 years or so, windows down. The car's pretty beat up, has a lot of things that need to be looked over and taken care of, so I got a lot of work ahead of me. But I have a built KAT that I'll show you guys here in a little bit that's ready to go into it. I just got to get the engine kind of sorted out, or the engine bay sorted out, and get that ready for the engine to go in. I have the paint right there, right behind me. We're going to be doing a yellow engine bay. The car will be painted yellow, but it's not going to be rattle can. First things first, we'll go ahead and show you all of the nastiness. I've been cleaning it up little by little here and there over the past 2 days. I haven't really recorded too much of it, but grinding away all the rust with a wire brush. The car has been wrecked multiple times, as you can see here and here. It's pretty beat up, but it's gonna get wrecked again, so it's really not that big of a deal. I will smash this into somebody at some point, on track, off track, whatever it may be. Also, there's this, I don't know what you would call this bracket for the sway bar, and the arm is cracked, so I'll be getting into one of those and building my own Nismo power brace. You'll see how bad the rust has been. It's all surface rust, really. There's a couple of minor issues here and there, but like that, I mean, that's pretty bad. All of this is just loose, so I need to push that back into place and then weld it before I go ahead and cut up all of this to put tubs in it. We got some Z32 brakes on the front that need to be cleaned up with some Teen Street basis coilovers, whatever they are. They're really old. They're probably blown, but we'll see what they do. Pinch welds have all been almost all the way folded over, still need to do the bottom. And then in here too. And then move this over for clearance for the angle kit. It's already been cut up here for the wire harness relocation without being painted, so it's nice and rusty like it is. This frame rail isn't too beat up. I mean, it's not in the best shape, don't get me wrong. You see it kind of crinked up right there. And of course, the pinch weld's just disintegrated. It's got some really ugly over fenders on it. I really hate this whole step side look. And it's super cut out, so I gotta plate all of that because I'm not about to have smoke get in my car. That would be really annoying. The dash and everything is really gutted. The entire wiring harness has been chopped all up, so I'm gonna be looking for a new harness to replace it. Probably repair just like this. They cut off the door switches rather than using the connectors. I just got off the phone with Justin, so we're gonna be going to get a bumper for this thing, a stock bumper, because I'm not really a fan of this aftermarket bumper. I'll be pulling this off and selling it, I'm sure. It's just not my style. Has a Z32 rear diff and axles. I'll be pulling the diff out and keeping the axles in there, and just putting a stock 240 diff back in and welding it. But yeah, that's the overview of the beginning of the S14, so we'll get to work. So like I had said, how this car has been hit on this side. I don't know if they were the same accident or not, but as you can see, this whole entire section here has broken off. So I'm not going to tube front it for now. I'm just going to run it until I wreck it, and then I'll tube front it. I ground away a little bit of paint right there and a little bit of paint right there. I'm going to tack it in on those two spots, hammer it in to where it needs to be at, and then I'll finish welding it up after I grind away the rest of the paint that I need to grind away. Alright, so we got that side all tacked up and cleaned up. There's best as possible, really. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to getting this cleaned up and this crack tacked back together, and this crack down here tacked back together. If I find any more, we'll be doing those also. Quick tip, if you're going to be trying to repair cracks such as these, you have to take a small drill bit and drill the end of the crack, or else even after you weld it, it's going to want to spread. So I went ahead and did that on all of these ones. So now I'll go ahead and weld up the tip, and it should be good to go. Alright, so my camera battery died, so I went ahead and just got everything sort of finished up and packed into place how it should be. So everything's pretty much tacked up and ready to be grinded down and painted over top of. Gotta fold in that last little bit down here. Same with all back here. That shelf there. I gotta move this forward to the angle kit. The side's all tacked back together as best as possible in its current position. So we'll get to cutting out the rest of this metal in here and getting ready for the trailer fenders to go in. So that side's all cut up and done. We have plenty of room to fit the trailer fenders in now. They're sitting over there. Now we're gonna go ahead and focus on getting this side all cleaned, getting it all trimmed out. So we have this side all cut up, and I'm just kind of sitting the fender in there to see how it looks. Still have to trim out this little bracket that's right in here, right there, but we'll do that in a second. Yeah, so I'm gonna just do some cardboard and use that to help trace out the Alright, so now we got the trailer fender pretty much ready to go in. Got it all lined up and everything, so we're gonna go ahead and tack it in place. Alright, now that we have the trailer tub fender tacked in place, it's not moving, so it's got 4 tacks on it. We're gonna go ahead and remove this. We probably should have done that beforehand, and then we're gonna try and hammer this whole section over into there and then kind of weld it up together. We'll see how well that works though. While we're waiting on the drill battery to dry, we're going to use some cardboard, and we're going to get the rough template of our inside of our trailer tub. And after we get that, we can take it over to some metal and we can put it on the metal. And then once we get that on there, we'll go ahead and take the angle grinder, cut out that rough shape, and we can put it in there and tack it in place. Alright, So we have the side piece cut out, and there's a little bulge right here in the shock tower, which we're gonna leave that there, and we're gonna open it up on this, so it has that bolt still there. I'm not sure exactly what we'll use it for, but I'm sure we can use it for something at some point. So I have a punch set up right there. I marked out the 2 edges, so I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole right there so it looks nice and round, and then I'm gonna cut into it. Alright, so we went ahead and got all of that drilled out and cut away. So now this fits up pretty well. So I'm gonna start tacking it into place and then massaging it into where it needs to go with the hammer, and then tacking it along as I go. So, we'll get to it. Alright, so I completely forgot to record that side basically. So I'm going to, basically I'm just going to record doing this side. You guys can just follow along with that one. I already have the other skin cut out and drying on the back side right now. I'm going to go ahead and wire wheel down that tub and get it ready for paint before I weld it on, so I can just kind of paint this inside seam right here and right here, because I won't be able to get in there after I weld. So both the tubs are welded up. Got the inner skins on each one. So now I'm just gonna start wire wheeling away at the entire engine bay and getting it cleaned up and ready for first coat of primer. So set it up on the time lapse and get to work. So I'm pretty much finished up for the night. Found a couple more cracks in the chassis right here. This whole entire section wasn't even connected, it was just free floating. And then another crack right there. So I went ahead and drilled those and then I got to tack them up. Painted over all the spots that had rust with rust reformer that I had ground down previously. So basically all we're left with now is just grinding away at the engine bay, sanding down, and laying down the first coat of primer and just cleaning up some of these things so we have them out of the way for paint. But yeah, we'll get back on it tomorrow, and we'll get to removing everything, taping things up, and just overall scuffing everything. So I finally figured out what this little cutaway was for at one point. This was barely bolted on to begin with, and then I came under here and tried to take off the front bolt. Basically it's broken off inside there. The nut's broken off in there, so I'm gonna have to cut another hole right here because I'm not about to try and fuck with this. That's just ignorant, and I will do it properly. Welded in. They're supposed to be welded in. No. It's moving. It's not welded. So I'm gonna go back and weld it in myself, and hopefully it works. Alright, so now that that side's all fixed up, plated up, patched up, whatever you want to call it, bolt should work now. And I'm going to go ahead and finish scuffing up all of this, get this all painted up real quick, move that brake line forward because with the angle kit, the tire always ends up rubbing right along here. Alright, so I got a good bit of sanding done off camera, and I got the seams of the tubs all primered up. I got the bottom of the wheel arches all painted up, primered and painted actually. Everything's all done up. So now I'm getting ready to put seam sealer on and let it dry for the night. And I still have a lot more sanding to do, but that's pretty boring to watch, so I don't know if I'll record it or not, we'll see. But I'll go ahead and record me doing the seam sealer real quick, and yeah. Alright, so I have the seam sealer on the tubs, top and bottom. It's a little nasty under there, but it's sealed up good. So shouldn't have to worry about water getting in, and I shouldn't have to worry about rust starting in between the panels. So that's all good. We're gonna let that dry overnight, and for the next day tomorrow while I'm at work, and then we'll get back to sanding on this thing. Alright, so I got the car all masked up. Everything's taped off, sanded down. Now I just got to wipe it down with Prep All, aka wax and grease remover. I got the inside of the garage somewhat taped up so it doesn't get overspray everywhere. I got 3 fans that are going to be pulling the air out of the garage while we spray. But I'm going to go ahead and set up a time lapse and start wiping the engine bay down and then spraying. Alright, so we got the engine bay all sanded down since the primer is cured and cleaned off with the wax and grease remover. So now I got fans set up back here like I had last night, but tonight I have filters on the bottom of the garage so it doesn't spray much overspray out. I got that fan up there pulling air off the top of the engine bay. Got my lights. I got this all tarped up a little bit better this time, trying to avoid a little bit more overspray, so we're gonna jump into it. Alright, so we have the first coat of paint on, or not the first coat, but the coat of paint on. Now, I've gone ahead and I've punctured the hardener on the clear coat. I'll shake it up pretty good, and then just get through all these clear coats. Alright, so the garage is all cleaned up. 240 somewhat unmasked. Paint turned out really good. I'm really happy with how it came out. There's a couple of little imperfections here and there, like I touched it with my shirt right there and right there. I ran the screwdriver a little bit too far right there and dug into it, but that'll be covered up with the strut tower brace anyway, so it doesn't really matter. and I hit it with my knuckle right over there. But other than that, like, I couldn't be happier with this. Like, this is the best spray paint job I've ever done, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's all about prep work, taking your time, having the right products. So I'm gonna let this bake overnight. I'm gonna run the heater, and yeah, we'll see this in the morning once it's out in the sunlight. After I put it back together, that is. So here's my built KA24 DET. I didn't build this, my friend did, bought it off him, well, acquaintance. And he made like 380 on it, on a smaller turbo, smaller injectors. It's got 880 Nismos in it now, I believe. Or no, 810cc Nismo injectors. And it's got a bigger turbo. It's got a Garrett TO4E turbo, something like that, and CP pistons, 9-to-1 compression. It's got Eagle rods. Don't really know what bearings and stuff it has in it. Doesn't really matter, honestly. It's got head studs. It's got I want to say a Megan Racing manifold. I also have an ISR thick wall manifold that's in the other garage. I thought it was in this one for some reason. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull off this intake manifold. I'm gonna freshen up all the hoses inside there and replace all the gaskets in the intake manifold, just to kind of be proactive, because it's gonna have to be done eventually. Might do a water pump, might not really sure. But yeah, that's the engine, and should make somewhere around 400. I'll probably turn it down, probably like 350 to drift, but that should be more than enough. So that's that. So we got the engine bay all back together, all put up with the brake lines ran. I need to get another one of these to mount right here to get that one. Also, this line needs to be bent down a little bit more to line up with that bracket, but right now it's just being held up out of the way from the paint. But it came out pretty good. There's a few little mishaps, like my shirt touched it. I'm gonna be rhino lining the wheel wells, so I'm gonna probably tape up along this edge and then rhino line from there down. It's already been painted, but I want to go back over a rhino line to kind of give it a little bit of sound deadening from rocks hitting the wheel wells. But yeah, we still got some more work to do. Inside, of course, I got some wiring issues to work on. I got the roof to address, but we'll get there. And of course, the rear quarter panels and everything. But slowly and surely we'll get there. But yeah, thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe, or whatever. And we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.